Welcome to Tuesday evening. It is time for the Real Money Coach Show here live on Facebook and YouTube. And I am glad, I'm ecstatic, I'm so happy that you're here because we have a show for you tonight. We're going to educate you. We're going to give you some tools so that you can learn how to invest your money even better. Now, y'all know what I always say. I always say this: only invest what you can afford to lose, right? So, but we're going to show you we have a guest tonight that's going to talk about what she does in terms of helping us being our people, anybody who will sign up for the course, right? How to be a more wise investor. So, you know what we do? Like Nate's put in the chat, put in where you are watching from, what city, what location. Let us know if you're here in Charlotte. There's Ruth Bell in the house. Who else is in the house? I know we got somebody else. I see the numbers going up. Tell me where you're watching from. What part of the country are you watching from? The Real Money Coach tonight. I'm excited about a lot of great announcements that's coming up this weekend. I will be part of the Black Wealth Summit that will take place from 11:30 till 2 p.m. at the Harvey Gantt African American Museum. So we're going to be there on Tuesday. Every Thursday evening, as you know, I'm part of the Generational Wealth Alliance meeting with Dr. George Frazier and Janice Leake. So we'll continue to share financial literacy information on that show every Thursday. And it's coming up. It's coming up. At the end of the month, I will be going home, right? Home, what's home? Home is Mississippi. Listen, the reason why Mississippi is home, because that's where my mom grew up. That's where my dad grew up. I never lived there, only visited, haven't done that in more than 20 years. And so as I was talking to some of the folks that are going to be a part of our event there, they were like, well, really, you're just coming home. And I said, okay, it's a homecoming. It's homecoming. I'm going to be first on the 26th of the month. I am going to be in Jackson, Mississippi, the capital city, Jackson, Mississippi. We are going to be doing at 4 p.m. on that Sunday evening. We're going to be doing Increase, Protect, and Dominate Your Money. It's going to be a seminar, financial literacy seminar. It's going to be a book signing. We already know that we have some folks from the city council that are interested in coming and supporting the event. It's going to take place at the Jackson Westin Hotel. So if you know anyone down that way, please let them know to come out. It is a free event, no cost. Listen, it's been rolling by. We've had Timothy Day from Durham, North Carolina's on. Alice Martin from Charlotte, North Carolina is here. Dr. Benita Harris is here from Charlotte, North Carolina. She shared a beautiful testimony with me the other day of how things are changing in her financial life. So love to hear those great stories. And guess what? I spent this whole weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, what took me to Nashville is this little boy that's going to come on the screen with me here in a second. We call him TJ. Yeah, people call him Tony, but his name is TJ in our book, right? So TJ, his fiance Aaliyah had a bridal shower. And so our family took the trip with my little 4-week-old, well, actually 1 month yesterday, grandson. And it was an awesome trip. And to see them enjoy the resort there in Nashville was certainly a pleasure. So let's bring TJ on the screen and see what's happening with TJ.
What's going on? What's going on?
How you doing, son?
I'm good. I'm cooling.
You cooling?
I'm cooling.
So we always got to get a check-in from you every week. Maybe that's a good reason to have you on the show. They could get a check-in in the public, in the public, right in front of everybody. How's it going, son? How's this thing at P&G, this internship? What's going on with it? Tell me what's going on.
Everything is good. Managing a number of projects right now, focus on diversity and revolves around recruiting, attrition, retention, development, doing a lot of stuff that revolves around HBCUs. So I'm looking out for my HBCU folk out there. So everything is good, and I'm super excited to talk to our guest today
It's going to
because
be
I know
awesome.
she works with. Oh, was I cutting out there?
No, you good?
Okay. Okay. I was just gonna say I know that she works with a diverse population that some of my work is focused on, which is women. So I'm excited.
Well, and here's the thing. As we were together this past weekend, you mentioned that who's the number one client, PG's number one client?
P&G's number one client.
Yeah.
In
Was
what
that
sense?
Walmart? Like Walmart?
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah, it's Walmart. Walmart is
Walmart.
our biggest client.
The biggest client is Walmart.
Right.
And it's interesting because Walmart has been in the news a couple times. Number one is that the heir, I think his name is John Walton, of the Walmart fortune, prior to last week, Mr. Tapper here in Charlotte was the wealthiest NFL franchise owner. He's worth something like $16 billion.
Yeah.
Right? Been in the news, a lot of stuff going on.
A couple of dollars.
He's a couple of dollars. He was the wealthiest NFL owner. Well, now he's been replaced as the wealthiest owner because the heir apparent to the Walmart fortune bought the Denver Broncos. And his net worth is, so we went from 16 billion to 57 billion, right? So,
Sheesh.
But the interesting part about that, to me, the most interesting part about it wasn't the fact that he did it, but there's a young lady, and I wish I don't have her name. We might be able to look it up. But there's a young lady. She's a Black female.
I know her name. Hold on.
She is now the first Black female NFL owner because she was part of that deal. And I believe she may be the CEO of Starbucks or something. I'm not quite sure. But I was reading that and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool that we now have a Black female who is a part owner of an NFL franchise.
Yes.
You looking it up?
I saw that. Yeah, I just saw it. It just crossed my news feed.
Well, maybe we ought to get Aaliyah to look it up on TikTok.
On TikTok, yeah, get Aaliyah to look it up on TikTok. I bet she can find it faster than me.
Someone can look that up, put her name in the chat for us. But she is now the first Black female NFL franchise owner. Now, the other part that Walmart kind of was on the news for me is that I don't know how many people here may know John Hope Bryant from Operation Hope. John and I have been on several committees. Melody Hobson, thank you, Timothy Day, for doing that for us. Yeah, Melody Hobson is now an NFL owner. So John Hope Bryant, I've been on some panels with him and that type of thing, talking about financial literacy. I mean, he probably wouldn't know me if I came up to him and said, hey, but anyway, I was on the panel with him. So, and now he co-wrote an article that's going to be published in Time Magazine with the CEO of Walmart. They wrote this article together about financial literacy and the need for financial literacy, and they're supporting his program that he has there with Hope, Operation Hope. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Walmart is in the news for some positive things.
Right.
Here this time. Last couple of weeks. What'd you say?
I said this time.
This time. Well, and I don't know necessarily that Walmart is a bad corporate citizen. Well,
no, I wouldn't say that they're in a bad position. I think Walmart's pretty good. I mean, they service our people.
Yes,
they service our people. So and they cater to our demographic for sure.
Well, and here's the thing: in most WalMarts, well, I don't even know if you can say most, but most of WalMarts that I go in, they tend to employ quite a few of our people, and that's important to me because if I shop at a place, if it's not owned by us, I'd like for it to at least support us in terms of work. And Definitely. Let's see what happened here. We got back to this. back to the show graphic.
Oh,
I'm not sure what happened there.
we got tired of looking at us.
Let me see. I probably can fix this. Let's see. And I might be able to just talk long enough that my man will come back and fix it all up. Hang on a second, y'all. Let me get the banner down. All right.
There we go. Oh, now it's just me. It's all about me. Oh, I guess it's my show now, y'all.
Here we go. We're having a few technical difficulties
I
tonight.
was just about to take over the show.
Take it over, son. Take it over. You can take it all over. Listen. So tonight, on our show tonight, we have a young lady, and we'll talk a little bit about how I met her in a second. But her name is Dionne Blanks, and she's the founder of the Economic Empowerment Circle. And it's a financial education company that helps professional women become more financially secure by managing their own stock portfolio. She educates through highly effective live webinars, workshops, on-demand courses. Her clients receive the knowledge and step-by-step guidance needed to flourish financially. So Dionne is a wife, a mother, an identical twin, entrepreneur, and she says a 90s R&B hip hop music enthusiast. Maybe we'll have a little trivia today. Maybe we'll have a little trivia today. Maybe she could throw out a little trivia and let our audience answer it in the chat. Or maybe they want to stump her. I don't know. But in any case, let's bring Dionne onto the stage with us this evening.
Hi.
This is Dionne Blanks. Hi, how you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you all?
You're doing well. I am so elated and happy that you were able to take time out of your schedule to be on our show tonight. And I believe we met as a result of Every Dot Black.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay, so I presented there. I think you were in the audience, and you said, "Let me set an appointment with this guy to see if he really knows what he's talking about." So,
and you did. You did not disappoint.
So that's how we met, and then I found you shared what you do, and I was like, man, it's perfect to come on and educate our audience in terms of the things that you do, because I often say this all the time, is that what I do, it's great. I mean, I think it's the bomb, right? But you never put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's my basket. And so it's nice to bring up another financial educator on that can help our people tonight and give us some resources to better manage their portfolios.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Good.
You know what I just realized?
What's that?
This is the second week in a row we've had an Aggie on here.
You're right, TJ. It's a trend.
It's a trend.
And that wasn't even by design.
Just like talking to good people, huh?
Right. You like talking to smart people. Okay, all right.
Hey, there are some egos out there that bear to differ with you, right? So we're gonna give some love give love to Central too tonight, right? We're gonna give some love to Central and Johnson C. Smith and all the HBCUs. But that Aggie pride, man, that's something unique.
It's nothing like it. It never.
Yeah. And speaking of being in the news, the Aggie track team is phenomenal.
Amazing.
And just reading the coach's story and all those types of things. So I do want to give a shout out to the Aggie men and women's track team for all that they're accomplishing as a HBCU, a smaller school, and competing on the national scale, and is really thought to really compete for a national title. And they will be the first HBCU to win a national title. I mean, I'm not talking about the Celebration Bowl and that. I'm talking about a national title. And so we're really excited and pulling for the Aggies for that.
Very excited about that.
Definitely.
So Dionne, we'll just go off the screen a little bit and just let you kind of tell us a little bit about you and how you got to where you are, and then we'll come back and we'll get into a little bit of why you've founded in this economic empowerment circle.
Yes, okay. Well, my name is Dionne Blanks, and I am from Raleigh, North Carolina. And like Tony said, I attended North Carolina A&T State University and majored in finance. My background is I'm one of four. Of course, I have an identical twin sister, but I also have an older brother and older sister as well, raised by my extended family as well as my single mom. And just growing up, being around, we were not in a what they call, we were in a low income community, but we were kind of like shipped off to like the classical schools, and like seeing that type of wealth around me but not having necessarily access to it kind of made me want it, and trying to figure out, okay, why do we, some people live like this and other people have, higher worth, or not worth but net worth. And I'm just trying to figure out how to maneuver through life. I went ahead and majored in finance, and I'm like, surely I can learn this in college. So went through college, majored in finance, and I'm like, okay, still not rich. So I continued my education. I went into financial services, and I really worked in wealth management and institutional trust, but I managed the wealth of other people, which is completely different from building up wealth on your own for yourself and for your own family. And so, even with that experience, I still had to seek out the knowledge that I needed in order to put my family where we needed to be financially, and so that I can manage our wealth versus managing other people's wealth for them in the form of a job. So in about 2017, I went ahead and started financial coaching, and also got into investing and really focus on that and start serving my community in that way.
Well, that's awesome. And excuse me, I want to hone in on, maybe there was, you at first you said worth, and then you said net worth. And I think that's so important, because sometimes we talk to people and they say, I make this much money, and but it doesn't translate into wealth, right? And so tell us a little bit, what's the difference between income and net worth?
Huge difference. There's a huge difference, in the demographic that I work with is actually high income, mostly women. And what I have found is that just because you have high income definitely does not mean that you are wealthy or have any type of wealth. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when people earn more money, they tend to have lifestyle creep and tend to spend more money. And so the wealth is created by way of assets. So if you have a nice job, comfortable lifestyle, but don't own any type of assets, or don't have more assets than you have liabilities, you actually have a negative net worth, even if you have a high income. So that's one of the first things that I have to kind of sit down and look at a cash flow analysis of anyone that I work with, so that we can see where that income is actually going, and make sure that it is working in order to create wealth and value for that individual and that individual's family. Because income can run out, but wealth, once it's created, it can spin off cash flow for decades or forever, even
Generations, yeah.
So absolutely. So the income is kind of temporary, especially if you're not using it in order to acquire assets for long-term wealth building.
Right. And it's so important as we talk about assets, because so often we don't think about that. It's like, get a good job, you might make six figures. And even the Wall Street Journal says that 78% of all people in America live from paycheck to paycheck, regardless of income. That's whether they're making six figures or five figures or whatever that income looks like. And that's because I think, in my opinion, is that we don't get taught financial literacy, financial education enough.
That's absolutely right.
Because I was an accounting major, and I didn't learn anything about, personal finance. It was about balance sheets, profit and loss statements, those type of things, analysis and these type of things for business, but it wasn't really about personal finance.
That's exactly what I learned, even as a finance major. And so, whenever I graduated and I ended up in a ton of debt, me personally, I was embarrassed because I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. But just thinking about everything that I learned, it was never about personal finance. So there was a reason that I was there. I had to actually go through that myself and learn how to really manage my finances and stop beating myself up because I had this degree hanging on the wall saying that I had majored in finance and still ended up in a bad financial situation. So we have to be real with ourselves whenever we go to business school or we go, have an accounting degree or finance degree. That says nothing about how we manage our personal finance. So that's the first thing that, I let people know. Just because you have this, business degree does not make you a financial genius. There are still some things
Absolutely.
that you can benefit from learning as far as how to manage your cash flow and increase your wealth.
And sometimes you mentioned it's the shame, right? I have a degree. I might even have a PhD in finance. I might have, well, there ain't many of us have PhD in finance. Boyce Watkins is one of the few, but we have these advanced degrees. And have you found this? And I found this in my career that I was really good at helping other people with their money, but I wasn't as good with my own money. And I think some of that has to do with, number one, is that we do extend a lot to our customers, right? We pour out a lot, and then by the time it's time to look at our own stuff, we're drained. We're saying what's going on, and then you have this embarrassment. It's like you're helping people that have these multiple zeros behind their income, right, or their wealth, and you're saying I'm helping them, but I'm not really helping myself. And I love the fact of your transparency with that.
Thank you so much. That I had to kind of realize that working in wealth management for regional banks, it was almost like, okay, I'm working in here, I'm going through the mechanics, but do I really understand how to build wealth? Just because I'm making sure that wealth is passed for them from one generation to the other. But creating wealth for yourself is completely different, and really pulling the veil back and being real with myself allowed me to get the knowledge that I needed in order to begin building real wealth for myself.
Now, I'm going to bring Young Buck in here, right? I'm going to bring Young Buck in here. I'm going to ask you this, because I know what my experience was like coming on campus back when I did it, long before you guys, but and I talk about that in the book. But if you were to go back, and you guys are Aggies, right? If you were to go back to a freshman Aggie coming on campus, what advice would you give them? And then what advice would you give that Aggie as they're leaving it with a degree in their hand?
Oh, wow. Okay. If it was me, I would say just to be disciplined, and everything that glitters isn't gold, because we see credit card vendors and all these people come in as soon as you come to school. And Dad, you talk about it a little bit in your book, but the same thing is going on now. And so we don't necessarily have the knowledge when we're coming in to manage finances, and we end up putting ourselves in a bad position that we have to climb out of. That's financially, and outside of that, don't party every day. No, just a couple days, not every day though.
Dionne, what would be your advice to that incoming freshman?
That would definitely be a main thing, because I remember signing up for a credit card because I got a free toaster, and I charged that credit card up something terrible. So I would definitely say, if you are going to open a credit card, just be very careful with that. Of course, many college students do not have income to support even opening and carrying a balance on a credit card. So if you open it, be responsible with it and make sure that you are paying at least the minimum balance once you are have that going on so you can actually build your credit. And as far as exiting, like if you are a senior, you're exiting college, I would definitely say to make sure that you are thinking about your future. It's never too early to start saving and planning for your exit from wherever you are. I know it sounds premature to start planning for your exit on your first position, but make sure that you are putting money aside for retirement or early retirement. I think about it as the quicker and the earlier you're able to save, the quicker you can leave. I always say that retirement is not necessarily an age, but an income goal or a actual financial number. So once you reach that number, you'll be in a better position. So make sure that you are participating in your 401k plan up into the match if it's your first job, and make sure you know exactly how much your job is matching you. And most importantly, one of the biggest things that I didn't know when I graduated was about the vesting schedule. So there may be times where your 401k plan will be giving you ownership of your 401k funds year by year. So if you are in year 3 and you're about to quit and you have no idea that you are about to become 100% vested, if you stay until the end of that year, you can forfeit that entire 401k plan balance that you've been busy building up if you're not aware of the vesting schedule for that, as far as their matching portion of it. So just become intimately familiar with your first position's 401k plan, know the vesting schedule, know the match amount, and get started saving and investing as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's great advice. I heard someone say this the other day, is on your first day of your job, write your resignation letter.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does, it gives you that freedom of saying, I know I'm not tied to this, right? So if I'm not getting this is more about getting your net worth, right? So often what happens in the corporate environment is what we want to do is we want to put golden handcuffs on you and really kind of pigeonhole you in certain positions. But knowing those things, like what's the vesting schedule? At what point do I get all that the company has matched and what I've put in? And, when can I move that? If I move that, and all those types of things is very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, companies get you to drink the Kool-Aid.
They definitely want you to drink the Kool-Aid for sure. So, so those are all great tips. So let's turn our focus a little bit to the economic empowerment circle. Tell us a little bit about your company, why you started it, and what you guys are all about.
Absolutely. So I started the Economic Empowerment Circle LLC back in 2017. I actually had a store. I have been an entrepreneur my entire life. So I owned a natural hair care store and salon, and I was one of the first people to market. But then, of course, the Walmart and the CVS and Walgreens came in and kind of took over that market, left me with a ton of debt, literally tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Very depressing situation. And I said, if I ever get out of this situation, I'm going to help somebody else to see their way through out of debt and start building up. And so in 2017, I paid off every single dime that I owed. And that's when I became a financial coach. So
can we put a bookmark right here?
Yeah, sure.
How did you do it? Because so often people come in and say, I got rid of all my debt. I became debt free. But how did you do it? What did you do?
It was very hard. Number one, like I said, I was an entrepreneur. So and I'm married as well. So when you're going through something like this, it not only affects you, but it affects your entire family. So definitely with the support of my husband, I actually went back to work full time, which I did not want to do as an entrepreneur. That kind of like killed and crushed my soul. But I had to do what I had to do because I was in a ton of debt. And so I literally was able to use all of my bonus money, all of my income. I had to literally stop the vacations, the girls' trips, really sacrifice in order to get very intense and intentional about paying off my debt. So for me, it wasn't like, oh, YOLO, you only live once, pay a little bit down. No, I was completely focused on the goal at hand, which was getting myself out of debt. So to answer your question, I sat down and I made a list of every single person that I owed, including the small business loans that I had as 2 SBA loans as well. I added those in the mix. Everything that I owed, I had to make a list out of it. And I used what was called the snowball method as far as, making sure that you were paying your smallest balances first so that it could keep me motivated in order to get through that situation. So once one credit card was paid off, I did not reduce the amount that I was paying monthly. I just went ahead and applied that amount to the next smallest balance until it was completely gone. And so it was that discipline that allowed me, after everything was paid off, to continue using those funds for investing, whether it was real estate or the stock market. So it was not easy, to be honest with you, but having a plan definitely helped, and definitely having the support of my husband encouraging me to continue and keep on with it assisted as well.
Well, here's a shameless plug. Page 28 of Increase, Protect, and Dominate Your Money. We talk about the snowball method, the avalanche method, the debt roll-up method. And this, everyone who's watching, if you have not received it yet, you can get this absolutely free by going to ipadyourmoney.com and using the code IPAD100, all caps, IPAD, all caps 100, and it's yours absolutely free. No shipping, no charge whatsoever. We just want to get the information in your hands. So now back to the empowerment. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Economic empowerment circle.
Yeah, so and that's great. I'm so glad that you included that in the book. It absolutely works. So just having that discipline. And so after I got myself out of that situation, that's when I started financial coaching and start working with mainly women who were in the same situation. It may not have been business related debt, but it was debt from shopping or taking trips or just buying things that they could not afford, and just working with families in order to get in a better financial situation. But once they got through that, it's like, okay, what's next? And that next step was investing. And that's what I do now, is investment education, and make sure that, okay, you have your savings, you have your debt paid off. What's next? Let's go ahead and put extra towards saving for, your golden years or, your legacy account.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us how you take your clients through what's kind of, I don't want you to give the store away, right? I mean, because we want people to be able to, and we're going to give them information on how they can take your course and all those types of things. And here's the thing, people, sometimes people say, well, you bring people on that do some of the same things you do, but there's so much need out there. Yourself, myself, Tony. I mean, we can't educate everybody that needs this information. And so we have to be thinking more about being, collaborate and working together than competing with each other.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell people how they can sign up for your class and that type of thing. So kind of walk us through, not all the detail, but just a little bit of how you structure that.
Absolutely. So the program that I have is called the SIPS program, and it's Stock Investing Portfolio Selection Program. And so we start off with the foundations of what is a stock, what are the benefits of investing, and then we break down the stock market, how it works, the major players in the stock market, and we go into the economic factors that affect the stock market, so that when we're going through times like this, you're not feeling like you're being sideswiped. You're kind of expecting what we're seeing right now in the market, so that you won't be shaken out of your position. And so we go through the foundations first via self-paced modules. We do quizzes after every module. But in addition to that, we also have live sessions where, in very small groups of 10 or less, we actually get together every week for 6 weeks and we help you to create your own portfolio that you analyze, because now that you've gone through the course and we've gone through the live sessions, the participants understand how to look at financial statements, how to analyze a company from a financial standpoint. But beyond that, what is important to that individual as far as what they want to invest in, and does this company meet those requirements? So we literally take someone with very little knowledge of the stock market, introduces them to all aspects of the stock market and how it works and how to analyze companies, so that in the 6 weeks you have a completed portfolio that is a dividend-based portfolio that actually provides income to you, whether it's on a quarterly or semi-annual basis, however your companies pay dividends to you as a shareholder. But it's important for us to understand how that process works, whether we are working with an investment advisor or we want to serve as our own investment advisor. After the program, you actually have that option and know what your advisor is supposed to be doing, even if you choose to have that advice given to you.
So you're a more educated consumer, and that really is the key. And
Absolutely.
I think you made a great point, because sometimes we look at the stock market and we say, well, the stock market has grown this much or it's grown that much. The value of the stock, that doesn't necessarily translate into that it's dividend pay. So,
Right. Exactly.
and I think that's a key too, because that dividends becomes passive income.
And I'm all about passive income. That's one of the things that I focus on, is to make sure that even if you have a job that you love, it's also important to have other streams of income, such as real estate. But I understand that everyone does not have, the ability to go out there and put 20% down on an investment property, but everyone can invest in the stock market due to fractional share investing. And there are certain companies that spin off cash flow like dividends that you'll be able to invest in as well with very little income.
So, and that's lowering the barriers to entry.
Yes.
And I think right now, I don't think the barriers to entry oftentimes, unless you're talking about the big, box houses, big brokerage that says, you got to have $500,000 in net worth before they talk to you. Otherwise, you're talking to a kiosk or whatever that looks like, right? I think the barriers to entry for many of us is just fear. And
Definitely.
and that's where I see what you do is it helps to eliminate the fear of investing. Open a Scotch trade account, or one of those Robinhood or Acorn or whatever you I don't know how you feel about those apps, but just bringing down the fear. And I think that's the same thing as we were talking last week about cryptocurrency and getting involved in some of those things. Is how do we get past the mindset of I don't know about this, so therefore fear kind of paralyzes me.
I absolutely agree. But education is the biggest fear breaker, just to make sure that, and another thing is also making sure you're working with someone who wants to teach you. Whenever I worked in banking, we have to realize that a lot of banks get paid based on assets under management. They don't get paid to teach you how to do what they are doing for you. So you have to make sure that you are getting your education, as far as the investment education is concerned, from someone who actually wants you to learn. And everyone who trusts in me to teach them, I want to make sure that they are getting the value out of the course and the program. So just taking that fear away by walking step by step through the process of opening your brokerage account, funding your brokerage account, selecting and reading financial statements. Some people, before they even sign up, they are already counting themselves out like, oh, I'm bad with math. My math teacher told me I'd never be anything, and all these things that have like really put that barrier between themselves in managing their own money, we have to deal with that as well whenever they are looking at managing their investments. So just making sure that everyone feels heard, feels seen, and that is one of the reasons why we keep our classes so small, is because a lot of people in our community are intimidated by the stock market and need someone with the knowledge to walk them through the process. So when you sign up, you're actually paired with a partner, as well as myself as the lead investment education instructor and a mentor. So when I tell you that they have the support that they need to get through it, that's what I mean. And I know that that fear is crippling. So we can't afford to not take action and make sure that everyone who wants to learn has the knowledge.
So are your mentors people that have been through the course already, or is that how that works? Or
Yes, exactly. We have two mentors for each of the classes that we take through, and they are former students who have gone through the program, and we also trade together. So the course, the SIPS program, is focused on investing, but the mentors have not only created their own portfolio themselves, but they also trade with me daily stock options, and that's a more advanced class after trading. I'm sorry, after the basics of investing is taught.
awesome. Well, we are a fan of stock options and utilizing those in many different ways to help people to protect their income for loss, and then also be able to take advantage of those options when they go up, and being able to exercise those options so that we can buy low and sell high. Right, that's the kind
That's
of the
it.
name of the game. I've always thought it's not when you exit the market that you make your money, it's when you enter it.
Entry is everything. Absolutely.
So what do you think, T? You got any questions for Dionne?
I do actually. Well, I would love if you can talk about why this is important for women specifically, right?
Absolutely.
Why is it so important for women, especially um, Black women, to get a hold of this information?
Absolutely. Many times Black women are actually, we are going to college, we are getting the degrees, we are having, the six-figure incomes, but it's important for us to understand that there is more to it than just spending every penny that we have. And a lot of that has to do with making sure that we're making the right decisions now in order for us to be able to live a life that is fulfilling as we tend to grow older. A lot of women are focused on their children and building a legacy. As far as wealth creation is extremely important to many mothers. So having this information allows women to create what I call a legacy account. That's literally the name of my portfolio. I have two boys myself. I have a 9-year-old and a 16-year-old. I want them as Black men to have a head start as well. They deserve that as well. So just as a mother, wanting to create a stable financial future, not only for myself, but also for my children, it is very important that women, especially Black women, get in a position where we are not working until the day that we die. We deserve luxury. We deserve passive income. We deserve not to work so hard every single day for every single dime. It's time for us to learn how to make our money work for us. So that is why I feel like it's extremely important for us to know this information. And just as women, we are natural teachers. And so once this information is given to a woman, I've seen her teach her family, her children. And so that if you can't say, my mom didn't teach me, so I don't know. We find that when women have the information, they tend to share it and then provide that information to their children as well. So you're not just changing one person's life, you're actually changing the lives of those who come after you as well. So it's extremely important for women to get this information so that we can start using our money and our finances in order to secure our future and those for the generations who come after us as well.
That's awesome. You're passionate. You're passionate about
Oh
what you're doing. You're passionate about what you're doing. And you say you have another passion, which is R&B.
yeah, I
So if
do.
you were gonna pick a song that would be your theme song, what song would that be?
Oh my goodness, my theme song. It's so many of them. I love Eric B and Rakim, LL. It's just so many of them. Let me think.
It'd be hard to pick. It's hard to
It would
pick.
be very hard to pick. I would say Just Got Paid Friday night.
All right. Just got paid.
Yes,
Friday night.
nothing.
Love it. Love it. So as we come to a close of the show, I do want you to share if someone wants to find more about, taking your classes, signing up, those type of things, how would they do that?
Absolutely. You can visit my website, which is economicempowermentcircle.com. And there you will have access to, I have a free webinar, an ebook, just different resources that you'll be able to access there, as well as you'll be able to click on programs in order to find out about the stock investing and portfolio selection program. The next cohort starts June 26th and runs through July 31st. So all of that information is found on my website, economicempowermentcircle.com.
Is there still room in that class?
There is actually one seat. We keep them limited. So we actually have one seat left for the June class, and then we will start the next cohort in September. So they can definitely still reach out to me.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So T, any last words, any last questions you have for Miss Dionne tonight?
I want to talk a little bit about gender roles.
Don't get in trouble now.
I want to talk about gender roles.
Look out.
Right. So, I'll say this. One of the reasons why I thought it was really neat and really impactful that you work with women is because there's this idea out there that you rely on a man to take care of you financially, and he holds it down for you, and he's the provider. You cook, clean, and take care of the kids. But I think that's changing, and I think that with your program and what you do, you're definitely a part of that change. So I'll say it like that.
Oh, thank you. I thought you was going to get me in trouble.
No, I'm not tonight. I'm not going to get you in trouble. I don't want to get myself in trouble.
There you go. There you go.
Women can definitely manage the finances as well, and I think that it's important that we do. I'm extremely traditional, so I do. My husband is the provider, but at the same time, I'm at home. I love spending time with my children, but at the same time, I'm always thinking about how I can make our funds grow and how we can build together as a stronger Black family. So, just being that person who is able to speak with women and make sure that we have our finances under control and are still able to build wealth, even if we're at home, even if we don't work outside of the home. What can we do at home to continue to build wealth for ourselves and for our families as well? So I'm super traditional, and I do love the fact that women are starting to take control of their finances. You mentioned Melody Hobson earlier, and she is such a role model for me. But she owns Ariel Investing, the president and CEO of Ariel Investment. So, she's definitely a trailblazer there. So.
Well, and so often we see both. I've seen dynamics in my 25 years of doing this. I've seen dynamics both ways, where you have a situation where the husband handles all the finances, and then something happens. He passes away. The Lord calls him home, and now she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what's what, where's anything. And then I've seen the opposite true too, where the wife comes and she handles all of it, whether she works or whether she's at home, and she handles all the finance. And then if something happens to her, he's lost. He doesn't even know how to write a check, and these types of things. And so I think it's very important that couples be engaged, and how you decide to do that is very different. I mean, Some couples love to combine and have, joint accounts. Others like to have separate accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to understand the dynamics of your relationship and your personality in terms of how do you handle that. And I think transparency is always the key. It's just being transparent. I mean, if you're gonna have a secret account, tell me. I mean, I guess it ain't a secret if you tell me, but but just I think just the transparency and communication, especially when it comes to money, is really, really key for relationships, whether we're talking marriage or we're talking partnership in business. Transparency is huge.
Absolutely. Could not have said it better. And there's no right, one right way to do it. I've seen it play out different ways. So whatever works for that individual couple.
Absolutely. So, Miss Dionne Blanks, we're going to give you the last word. Any last advice you'd like to share with our audience tonight?
Just because of where we are as far as this bear market is concerned, and it looks like a looming recession, even though I teach a lot about investing, I want everyone to make sure that they have a solid financial foundation in place right now. If you are living from paycheck to paycheck right now, it may be time to figure out your side hustle or whatever type of skill you can go ahead and monetize right now in order to increase your income. Make sure you're paying down your debts, because as interest rates increase, you're going to start seeing variable rates on your credit cards go up as well. Make sure you have insurance as well, and then look for opportunities. If we do go into a recession, there will be plenty of opportunities, not just in the stock market, real estate, and different asset classes as well. So just because they haven't announced a recession yet does not mean we cannot do what we can in order to prepare for those times, and see how we can best position ourselves in order to take advantage of any opportunity that's going to present itself.
Great time to have some cash on hand.
Yes, cash on hand. For sure.
And just being in a place where it's liquid. Again, I go back to that. You need liquidity. You need to be some often when we talk about being diversifying, we only talk about it in terms of risk, but I think there's a lot of things we have to talk about when we talk about diversifying, not just risk, but also tax treatment, and also creating lifetime income, safe money, these types of things. We have to have a very diverse portfolio that looks at the whole picture. And my thing is always when I'm talking to someone about money is like, where did the money come from, and what do you want that money to do, and when do you want it to do it? Because and this happens a lot, is like if my grandmother or my mother leaves me some money, my approach of how I invest that money may be different because of the sentimental value that represents. So I might be a little bit more conservative than I would be if it was money that I went out and got myself. And understanding all the dynamics of that, I think, is important when we make those type of decisions.
Absolutely. Great point.
Well, listen, it was a pleasure having you here. We're going to have you back one day and share more with us. And I appreciate you taking time out to do that. And we want to go to economicempowermentcircle.com, economicempowermentcircle.com, where you'll find all the information that you need there. And y'all, her Instagram game is when I saw your Instagram, I was like, man, that much energy, fireball. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you and Tony Jackson II. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, listen, and here's Harvey Jones from Birmingham, Alabama, says great information. Thanks. Here's Ruth Bell, says, Dionne, you're an awesome young lady. Thank you for sharing so much important information. And so this is important, whether you are watching this live right now or watching the replay, is that we take action. That's the key, is get the information and then take action with that information. So with that, Nante, take us on home. It's been another episode of the Real Money Coach Show, live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you all for joining in tonight. We'll see you next week.
Take care. Thank you.